Welcome back to Endangered Species Spotlight. This week we are talking about corvids. So corvids are a family of birds that include crows, ravens, magpies, and jays, and a couple other miscellaneous things. I was going to make one specifically about crows, but I don't think anyone would watch me talking about crows for like 10 minutes straight, especially since a lot of them look similar, so we're doing the whole variety pack of a bunch of different corvid species. So corvids in general are known for being very smart and very adaptive, so yeah, they're just very cool. I like them quite a lot. Starting off with one of the most common birds, the American crow. These guys are absolutely everywhere. People see them as pests quite often. Lots of people just hate crows, and they're just guys. They're just here. I love crows personally. I'm a big fan of them, up there with some of my favorite birds. They're very smart, and they're pretty too. They get so much hate for no reason. So American crows are literally everywhere. You can find them pretty much all over North America. They are very common, and I like them a lot. On a similar vein, we have the American raven, another pretty common one. Ravens and crows often get mixed up quite a lot. You can kind of tell differences. They have different shaped beaks. American ravens have like a thicker, longer beak. They also have different shaped tail feathers, but the main difference is ravens are a hell of a lot bigger than crows. They're also very good at mimicry. This is a video that my mom's boyfriend sent me of a raven he was just chilling with. You can hear the sounds. So you can see that is quite a bit larger than like crows, and yeah, he's just chilling out. Again, American ravens are very common all over. They're also known as carrion birds in some places, because they often follow wolf packs or cougars around, and when the hunters are finished with eating their fill, the crows and ravens will come down and finish off what's left. Again, very smart. They can be taught to speak on a level comparable to parrots, and they're often smarter than most toddlers. This is the blue jay. Lots of people are very familiar with blue jays. They're a very pretty bird. They are pretty common throughout North America. They tend to live in central and eastern Canada and central and eastern United States. So I don't get them in my province, but they are found in multiple areas throughout Canada. And again, very smart and just absolutely gorgeous. This is another jay species, the Steller's jay, and I am actually more partial to the Steller's jay than the blue jay, mostly just because they are all over British Columbia and I see them at my mother's house all the time. They are very common around here. So while the blue jays are more common in central and east coast areas, the Steller's jay are very common along the west coast. And they're also quite a bit bigger than the blue jays. Blue jays tend to be kind of little, and these guys are a decently sized bird. This is the jackdaw. So while American crows tend to be the dominant corvid species in North America, these are very, very common throughout the more Europe, Asia, Africa. So they're very common in northern Africa, pretty common throughout almost all of Europe, and then into the Middle East around like Turkey and Afghanistan, and then even all the way over to India. So these are kind of like, they're not technically crows, they're like slightly different species of corvid, but they're kind of called the Eurasian crows because that's kind of the equivalent. I don't think they're actually crows though. Yeah, they're not actually crows, they are just a similar species. They tend to be a lot smaller and found in different areas. This is magpie. There tends to be a couple different species of similar looking magpies. This one's just a generic magpie, but I absolutely adore these. If I had to say a spirit animal, it would be the magpie. I absolutely love them. They are again pretty common throughout Canada. In my hometown, there were not that many magpies. The crows were more common and dominant, but in the city I live in now, they're all over, and I'm so happy about that because I adore them. There's a couple different subspecies of these magpies, but they live quite commonly all throughout Europe and throughout North America, in some areas of Asia too, like Tibet. And there are Australian magpies, but those are actually not corvids. They're a different species. They're just also called magpies, but they're not related to these magpies, actually. They do look similar, but they're not related. I love them so much. They're just so neat. They, like, 10 out of 10 bird. No notes. This is the hooded crow. It is a crow species that is not actually found in North America, but it is pretty common throughout almost all of Europe and then down into the Middle East. So hooded crows and American crows are pretty similar, and they just look slightly different and they have like different calls and stuff, but they fill the same ecological niche. So they're very similar in behavior and all that. They're just different species of crow. This is the thick-billed raven, and fuck yeah, it sure is. That sure is a thick bill. They are the largest corvid species. They are pretty big, and they tend to live around the Cape of Africa. Yeah, this big bird with a thick beak. That is, yep. This is the green jay. It's related to blue jays and Steller's jays, and it is found throughout South America, Central America, so like Mexico, Colombia, Guatemala, all that. And they fill basically the same ecological niche as blue or Steller's jays. So yeah, very common down there, and they're very pretty. I kind of wish we had them up here. This is the tufted jay, with an absolutely magnificent crest there. It is, ignore my dog snoring. It is endemic to a couple small regions in Mexico, so pretty rare, but I don't think they're endangered. They're just only live in a small area, but yeah, again, related to blue jays, green jays, all that, and they just look very nice. This is the green magpie, so it's different from the common magpie that I showed. It lives in a bunch of areas in Asia, so around India down to Malaysia and Thailand, and I'm pretty sure I think it's pretty common there. Again, similar role to the common magpie found in North America and Europe. There are a couple subspecies of the green magpie that are endangered, such as the Javan green magpie, but overall these guys are doing fine. This is the Hawaiian crow, and it does look kind of just like a regular crow, but it is endemic to only a few islands in Hawaii, so it is critically endangered. It is one of the rarest, it is the rarest corvid species. There are very few of them left. I'll probably do an endangered species spotlight on these guys. But yeah, they only live in a couple islands in Hawaii, so they are pretty rare to see, pretty endangered, and need to be protected. And finally, we have the smallest corvid species, the dwarf jay. These guys are endemic to a few areas in Mexico, so again, pretty rare, and they're just little guys. They're tiny and adorable, and I love them. There are a bunch more corvid species, but these are kind of like the main most common ones, and then a couple just really cool looking ones. So yeah, I love corvids. I absolutely adore magpies and crows. Crows get a lot of hate, magpies get a lot of hate, which is undeserved because they are very cool, and I will defend them. I will fight people on them. If you come into my comments saying how much you hate crows, I will come into your house and tie-dye your carpets.